All right, people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Hot Take Wrestling Podcast. I am your boy, Old Man Logan. To the right of me is my good friend and tag team partner, KG. We're going to get ready to get this thing going, moving, and grooving. We have Royal Rumble to discuss today. So, tonight's episode 169, we are going to be discussing Royal Rumble picks and the matches, of course, leading up to the men's Royal Rumble match as well as the women's Royal Rumble match and who we think are going to win, possible scenarios for WrestleMania, of course, and all of that good stuff right there, all of that jazz. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce my good friend KG. Hold on one second, sir. I got you.
It's the ginger whiskey assassin, the other KG. Hashtag y'all gotta chill.
KG, tell the people how you doing, brother.
Well, I just need to know, how Bronson Reed was a part of Solo's bloodline briefly. He's running around calling himself the tribal thief, right? And Solo over here stealing Bray Wyatt's lantern, and then you also got Candice LeRae over here stealing masks. Like, does that make her an honorary Uce? They're honorary Uce, I say.
Hey, I'm like this close to buying the tribal thief shirt, but I still need a tribal chief shirt. I was, as much as I loved Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, I bought the inaugural tribal chief gimmick, I think, shirt, which was the wreck everyone and leave shirt.
Yeah.
I got that one, but I haven't had any other OTC shirts. I haven't had any other Bloodline shirts. I didn't get any of those, even though a lot of those were pretty cool. But so
absolutely. The problem is we always said they kept coming out with shirts in black, and it's like there's nothing wrong with that, man, but it's gonna have to be an incredible design for a black-based T-shirt at this point for me, because especially with them being the Bloodline, they couldn't come up with no red shirts. Like, I think they had a red shirt, but they had no Roman-based red shirt. I don't think.
And it was just kind of like, I need something different, because I looked at all of my WWE shirts I got, and I'm there with you. All of them are primarily black. So I'm just like, I wasn't about to add more black on top of black.
No, absolutely. The only shirt I might get again is because I lost so much weight so it got so baggy on me. Was that original AJ shirt they came out with, the blue one? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you had that one too, but remember the blue one when he first signed?
I think we did both get that same
Okay,
one.
Yeah. I'll probably get that again. But probably get it like in a medium or something, just because it's a different design. And as I'm running through my gear, and I'm like, man, I need to go through other channels or the special edition shirts.
And
which
that
rarely came out.
AJ shirt, I think it had it was a specific type of I don't know if this
material, like a heather
material.
Yeah, I think they call it like a heather shirt or something like that. I forgot what it's called. It's something between like cotton and we call it not nylon, but like cotton and whatever material, something like that.
Yeah, it was some type of blend. It was some type of blend.
some cotton polyester or something. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
See, man, that's why I'm not a seamstress. But God, Taylor, fed my pain. I guess for this, I'm just hoping we didn't go into the plan.
Let me about the show right quick.
It's Big Oos, Old Man Logan, acknowledging.
All right, y'all. A couple of things. So I'm working on the new intro. Obviously we tried it out last week. So my goal is to make that video fit with the old music, so it could just be like that. Because as much as I picked that Busta Rhymes song because it's one of my favorite Busta Rhymes songs. Like Fire is one of them. They got a lot of energy. But of course, what happens? Bow, they hit you over the head with a copyright. So I probably won't use that. You might see it again. Who knows? But, that's first things first. So intro is a work in progress. I'll have that up next episode all the way. We'll see how that goes, re-debut it. Two, make sure y'all listen to all of the playlists that I have created. It's on Apple Music currently, but they will be on Spotify. They will be on YouTube. I have Hip Hop Night Moves 1 and 2 on YouTube, but I don't have the whole series just yet. But I'm working on bringing that all to different platforms. So I still got Spotify and YouTube to bring those to. But Hip Hop Night Moves and R&B Night Moves, check all of those out. Also, audio is returning for both Hot Take Wrestling Podcast as well as Boulevard Ad Radio. So 169 here, 169 on Boulevard Ad Radio, and then I'm probably gonna just add additional content on there, maybe on Thursdays as a throwback Thursday kind of thing. Even though the episode is technically a throwback because it's already out via video, but audio wise, it's gonna be new and for whoever want to listen to it audio wise. So yeah, there you have it. A lot of stuff going on. Last but certainly not least, there is a hot take shop getting ready to open. So you've seen us in pictures, you've seen us recording. We have hot take wrestling shirts amongst ourselves. We're gonna see if it can sell and seeing if any of you guys want to support us and buy some hot take wrestling merchandise. Okay, so hot take shop's coming very soon, very soon. All right. We got the beef out of the way. We got the drama out of the way. We stopped the cap. See what I did there? We got all of that out of the way, and we moving forward. KG, you got something to say, buddy?
You wasn't capping somebody's ass.
Thankfully, I didn't have to.
I was going to also say, speaking of that Busta Rhymes thing, on my personal page, I got censored too. I compared Ice with a swastika. IG was not happy with me. They told me to take it down. Or they took it down.
They said, "No, big fella."
Said you better get in line. They said we are the nation.
Man.
A domination.
Mark Zuckerberg is down for the call. Hey, let me not get us censored over here on YouTube too. Meta and IG, it'll be all bad. It'll be all bad. We already lost our main page. Oh, that also too, people. Y'all make sure y'all follow the new Hot Take Wrestling page. HTWP_HTAD. Smash the subscribe button or follow button on Instagram. Please and thank you for everybody that have done it already. Thank y'all for migrating over to the new page. It's a new era. We got a lot going on. So thank y'all. And man, KG, you ready to go ahead and get some of this wrestling music? I mean, not wrestling music shit. Wrestling topics started. We got the weekly recap to do. We have the Royal Rumble to discuss. And yeah, man, we'll see where that leaves us after that. All right. So good people, if you do want to come chime in, talk Royal Rumble with us, who you think may be the potential winners of the men
at Blood Money.
You know what I mean? At Blood Money. If you guys want to give us, your personal picks, I am going to throw the link into the chat room. We don't do that often. I will monitor that. And if I see it's somebody it's not supposed to be, I'm Xing you immediately. You're not going to get a chance to talk. Just letting you know. So don't play those games, okay? Okay.
Time to play the game.
All right. It's time to play the game, KG. Hold on one second.
And now, your week in review.
I'm just going to say that I was actually pleased with this Saturday night's main event than all the other previous ones. Felt like a real throwback to like some of those NXT takeovers because everybody got a chance in terms of time to cook. I don't think anybody got shortchanged match-wise and quality-wise, match-wise. They were all really good. Even though they were considered a match, it was a no contest. I thought that served the point of what it was going to do. I mean, I was wrong in terms of the reveal of Jacob Fatu's attacker, but Cody and Jacob both were protected. And it kind of leads me to believe that rumor I saw about a triple threat at WrestleMania 42 with Jacob, Drew, and Cody. I don't know where that necessarily leaves Roman, but because there are also the rumor that Roman might win the Rumble. We'll get into that later, though. Yeah, the women killed it, that tag team match. For a second, I thought they were going to do the title change because here's the thing. Even though Rhea and Io just got the titles, nobody has to have a set number of days they hold the title. It just to that point though, then it's like hot potato between two teams. But I don't even think that's hot potato. I think that's building a feud potentially. But that's playing hot potato at that point because they only had it about maybe a week or less, or about a week and a half. It would take closer to 2 weeks because they went on the first Raw on Netflix in the other year. So, but I'm glad to see that they retained. So, build up some more challenges. Speaking of which, they had Kiana James and Julia lined up next. So I'm glad to see that too because we don't necessarily need to see the same two, rotation of teams either, especially with there only being one set of tag team titles. It lets the division stay fresh for sure. And I thought AJ and Shinsuke had their best match in WWE by far. I don't know because you hear some rumors back in the day about years ago, some of the producers were saying they wanted, even though they were in the WWE Championship match, they didn't want them outshining certain talents. They didn't want them making other people look bad and stuff like that. I'm like, hey man, at the end of the day, they cooked on Saturday. Not that their other matches didn't. It compared to that is just I saw the New Japan Wrestle Kingdom match before they both signed to WWE, and that was borderline 5-star match, and it just came over and necessarily translate 2 years later when they feuded. They had a good last man standing match. I just think people thought they were gonna crush it at WrestleMania, and like I said, it's still a good match. I thought Saturday was by far their best match. I would give it like a 9 or 9.5 out of 10, honestly, personally, on my own personal list.
Okay.
And that fatal 4-way. I think we both had Sammy winning, so no shocker there. I thought maybe they protected Trick once again. I thought maybe he would have took the pinfall losses because he had hinted at that, humbling him to, you run your mouth, but at some point you got to level up to a degree. But I'm fine with Trick not taking that pinfall loss because, and if he did, he still would have been protected. It's a fatal 4-way, so it's one of those things where, because that Hoover kick was just sudden out of the blue type thing. So the way that finish happened, I think he still would have been protected if that happened to Trick instead of Damian Priest. In terms of the build towards Rumble, I thought Monday a shocker there. I didn't have American Alpha winning that at all, or American Alpha Academy or whatever, winning that fatal 4-way between Los Americanos and what's it? All American Made, yeah, and then the New Day. And once again, we say we don't want the same rotation teams. I would have probably went with American Made though, because I think the Creed brothers, at some point, they have future tag team champions written all over them, and especially because they started as a tag team too, so it would have been nicer to see that. But at the same time, maybe they're building towards that. Maybe that's something that's going to happen at WrestleMania. Maybe not in a singles, but a straight up tag team match with just those two involved. It might still be a multi-team match, especially because I think they're going to elevate the division. So you could potentially see that where those two teams challenge the Usos, assuming the Usos walk in the Mania with the titles, and maybe you throw a fourth team in there, maybe like I'm hoping maybe this is when because right now it's looking like they're going to potentially put Penta with Dragon Lee. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, maybe you get the Lucha Brothers against the American, American Made. I keep forgetting the name of that stable. Usos, and then maybe two members from the division. I think that would be an ideal fatal 4-way tag team match. I don't know if it necessarily have to be a ladder match. It probably would be though, but I would like to see that for sure. But nothing wrong with Dragon Lee being in that spot either. I think it's just he already kind of just had his run with the tag titles. I don't like people just switching partners like that either too. That's another thing.
Right.
Even though him and AJ were a makeshift tag team. And then speaking of AJ, we got to see something because I didn't catch that on the Indies when him and Punk matched up. I know years ago there was rumors that they kind of weren't seeing like eye to eye, and I don't know if it was fan made drama or whatever have you, because they claimed that AJ wouldn't take a picture with a fan that had a CM Punk shirt on or something. I don't know if that was all confirmed or not. Anyway. But I thought they had a solid match too. Once again, one of those dream matches, you like to see that actually was able to work out because a lot of talents getting injured. You're not getting that opportunity to see these matchups that we either never didn't see. Because like I said, I was never really big on the indies like that, or for something we saw before, something we hadn't seen in decades. For the people that did see that, Big Punk had the blonde hair back then. He wasn't doing the streak either. How sad.
Question: was Punk a part of TNA? AJ was there when Punk was a part of TNA,
Yeah,
right? I know he was
briefly.
only there for
Yeah,
briefly, but yeah.
yeah. Because he was doing this feud with Raven, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was his biggest
Okay.
angle when he was with TNA. I want to say they had that feud in TNA. Him, Punk and Raven did. Uh, but what else? Uh, oh yeah, that 6-woman tag was really solid between the Judgment Day and then Rio, Io, and Stephanie McClure. So it looks like
Mhm.
they're gonna keep elevating Raquel to get that potential title match, which they actually did announce as a street fight next Monday. I think that's the right move to go with because once again, getting somebody who's worked their way back from being on the shelf, even though some of it was injury, some of it was actual health issues. 'Cause I know she had that skin problem years ago. And I think, like I said, Raquel is definitely, I don't even wouldn't say the word improved. She's just been able to stay consistently on television. I don't like to use the word improved with somebody that was already kind of polished. Because we saw her run in NXT that she
Yeah.
was able to work and lead a match as a heel, and she had a pretty good run down there with that title that NXT. So I wouldn't use that word for her. I'm just trying to think who else made it out there. And I'm interested to see what they do with the Division and the Royal Rumble since all four of them are going to be in it. I'm hoping they don't do something where, in years past, about close to 15 years ago, when Punk was leading Nexus, they were dominating the Rumble. And then Cena came out and just pretty much eliminated almost every single member
Yeah.
in a span of like a couple minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And something similar happened about 10 years ago with the Wyatt family when Brock came out, when they were just dominating. I'm like, yeah, I'm just hoping they don't run that angle where Roman comes out and it kind of buries the vision. But I
Well,
do
they do
expect them to.
have Brock announced. I don't know. I'm guessing they announced on social media he was going to be in the Royal Rumble this year. So um, there's that. I don't know if they necessarily have him eliminate division or if they, like you said, have Roman do it or a combination of
Well,
both.
well, he's
Either
kind of
way,
like
maybe
their.
both.
He's got. Well, I feel like Brock is kind of like their unofficial ally, should I say. He's not in the division, but with that whole realliance with Heyman, I don't think they'll do that with them. I think they might do something where we'll definitely see some interaction with Roman and Brock in this, as you said they announced them. But I don't think we'll
Mhm.
see that's the only reason I don't think we'll see anything where Brock gets attacked by the division. Um I don't think Brock will be in the Rumble that long. I think he'll be towards the tail end. He'll probably be in the mid to later 20s once he gets in. And I think the only person in the division that'll still be in at that point will probably be Braun Breaker. That's just my
On the
prediction. But
scale, and I'm glad you brought up Brown Breaker because I had a question for you real quickly before you continue. On a scale of 1 to 10, how possible do you think a match between Braun Breaker and damn, I almost said Goldberg and Brock Lesnar is at, in fact, WrestleMania or
that's
SummerSlam? I mean, one or the other.
that's a good question. I would think more so SummerSlam. 'Cause I don't know if they want to continue this Gunther being the career ender. Uh, I might prefer that a little bit more, but I think both guys would benefit from it because I think Brock's going to do the job either way. And I'm glad you mentioned Braun Breaker because everybody is assuming it's going to be Gunther because of the fact that it's in Brock's hometown, so obviously Brock's going to get that babyface reaction. It
Right,
might do
right.
more for Braun Breaker because Gunther's already a made man, but I do hope at some point we still get Gunther and Brock though. With that being said, I think Braun Breaker might be more likely to be his opponent, honestly. Because like I said, I don't think you want to keep on giving Gunther those spots because then you get into that Roman slash Seth thing where it's like, all right, somebody else needs to knock off the legends,
Yeah,
if you're gonna
yeah.
if you're gonna build up future talent, especially because Braun Breaker, I believe, because Gunther's around my age, so he's upper 30s. I think Braun Breaker's in his early or mid 30s at most. So I think that just would just help elevate somebody else and make them a made man. With that being said, um, anything else I wanted to touch on from Raw? I do, like I said, I think they were given vibes initially. With Swerve and Hangman on some 2-man power trip. And I think it's key that the FTR has a tag titles because they could definitely get a tag title run between the two with those two. Because I think I predicted that last year, but eventually they might become unofficial allies. But right now, I know Hangman has the trios titles with Jet Speed. So there's a Kevin Knight and Swerve had a hell of a match in the main event last week on Dynamite, and Tommaso Ciampa debuted tonight on Dynamite. He answered the open challenge. I did not catch the ending to that against him and Mark Briscoe. I just saw that was on AEW's IG page. So that's all I have so far because I normally wait till after we finish recording to check out the Dynamite the other night they were recording. But yeah, that's all I got right now.
Okay. So, got a couple questions for you. Thank you for giving us that recap. First things first, since we brought up Ciampa, what are your thoughts of him going to AEW versus the other options he had? Obviously, WWE has the working relationship with TNA, so that was a possibility there. He obviously, I guess, didn't have much of a compete clause because he's on TV there pretty fast, considering there's normally like a 90-day compete clause. But I really don't
I
think it's been about
think
90 days since the last time he had
no,
a match.
I
So,
think their 90-day non-compete is when they get released. I think when contracts expire, they're free to go work whenever.
so they can like that. They can pop up in in,
Yeah.
in, in, in another spot.
The
Okay.
reason the reason why Aleister Black, when he switched a couple years ago, they messed up something with the clause in his contract when he got transferred to the main roster and something that they didn't structure it so it's because he was still technically under his NXT deal the way he was signed, even though
Hmm.
NXT is still officially a part of WWE. The contracts there stipulated, I think that you didn't have to wait. But yeah, if one's contract is just up, they're free to go. To
Okay.
answer your question, as we briefly discussed last week, it's no slapping in Swerve's face, but I don't know, because he was never a star there, and he ended up being one of the, I feel like it was two or three guys and gals. Tony Storm's another one where it's like, hey man, something that WWE didn't see in them, maybe Tony Khan sees. So
Hmm.
because I think Ciampa at least should have been a mid card champion. I think he had the potential to be a world champion just because his ability, not just because his entry ability, his ability to cut a promo.
Hmm.
Um, I'd be hard pressed to name 10 guys who are a combination of better in ring and on the mic personally, and at least in WWE. Just for his passion that he has, and he was
Hmm.
running NXT. I think that's the only reason he didn't decide to go to TNA and follow under that umbrella because that's almost like a linear move. He ran NXT, and I think that's almost like going back to NXT. It's
Yeah.
just there's more veterans. I will say that in TNA. So, but in the grand scheme of things, when Ciampa was running stuff, this is when NXT was actually on television too. It wasn't exclusive to the network / Peacock. This is
Hmm.
when they were on USA. So I think I can't speak for the man, but I do feel like that's a linear move for him to go to a TNA, even if
Hmm.
he did touch the world championship there. AEW, you know, I thought maybe New Japan should have got a look, but at the same time, he does have a young child and wife, so it's one of those things too where he's gonna have to primarily be in Japan had he
Hmm.
signed with them, with
But
the
but
exception of
Japan dates would still be possible for him though, being on AEW.
no,
Not
for sure. I
necessarily,
was
you
just
know what I
saying,
mean?
like, yeah, I was just throwing that out there just because it seems that's what always happens. Hey, if I'm leaving there, I'm going to that one. Like it seems
Yeah.
you rarely see anybody in my recent memory that just say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go to New Japan or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
To be honest, dude, when they came back, when DIY returned, and they got sent over, not got sent over, but they returned to the main roster. Um, I was surprised we didn't get any type of feud between those two guys because we saw what they did in NXT. So
yeah,
why that never happened on Raw or SmackDown is beyond me. But and like you said, for Ciampa to not have a singles run as a champion on either show really was a disservice to both WWE and himself because the dude can go. I mean, especially when you talk about, what he did down there in NXT as champion, the wars, the battles he had with guys like Gunther down there while he was NXT champion, and it's just, yeah, it was so much, as Booker T would probably say, so much meat left on the bone. You know what I mean? That you could have done with him and with Gargano. I'm hoping that they don't, shat the bed with him, because I'm pretty sure if Ciampa's contract was up, Gargano's probably isn't too far behind, you know. Um, but let's just see, I guess, what happens with Johnny now that he's by himself. Um, but I'm I just think it would have been an easier path for Ciampa to become world heavyweight champion in TNA, and that's not a slight or a discredit to the people that's on the men's roster on TNA. I just saw him making an instant impact there versus AEW, because I feel like the possibility of him getting lost in the shuffle is very, very possible in AEW, because it's such a big, lengthy roster of guys and girls over there that, if you don't have like an immediate impact, you could get lost in the shuffle. So, but, he made obviously, like you said, he made the decision that apparently was best for himself, his small child, and his wife. So, wishing many, many well wishes and success. Hopefully he does great over there. Hopefully he does touch the AEW championship, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens over there. Like you said, right now he's eyeing the ROH. It's the ROH, or you said the TNT championship?
TNT championship.
The TNT championship. So again, kind of coming in and having a look at like a mid card title almost instantaneously. That's always pretty good.
Yeah, I'm also disappointed that they didn't do anything on the main roster with the Usos. I mean, granted, I don't know if they had that opportunity, also because it could have been a crossover time where the Usos were still together. I'm trying to remember if they were still together too, though, because I remember when Gargano came back, because he was the one that was out for a while. He came back and they ended Monday Night Raw, because I think it was like right after he lost to Gunther when Gunther had the IC title. So the Usos actually still were together, but I think the problem was, I think they were getting ready to split them up, because the Usos are still, I think the Usos were feuding with Sammy and KO, so I think they were going to work to WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken, when Gargano came back to, but at some point it's just certain feuds just had money written all over them. They had some good time, they had some good work with the Profits, I'll give them that, honestly. Just a little disappointing that they also, I mean, once again, injuries happen. They also didn't get a chance to really feud with Solo's group that much. I think they lost the titles. Machine Guns lost it. No.
Yeah.
Ciampa and Gargano lost it to them, I think. And then Machine Guns lost it to, they beat Solo's group. Yeah. So DIY lost to at the time the New Bloodline, and then they lost to Machine Guns, I believe. So
yeah. So we shall see. We shall see what else goes on there. Let's see, something else I want to bring up. Thoughts on Finn Balor's attack at the end of Monday Night Raw on CM Punk. What did you think about that, and them seemingly looking to be pushing Finn Balor in the near future, in terms of the main event and the World Heavyweight Championship on Monday Night Raw?
I'm going to steal a page from what Big E said and co-sign what he said. He basically was saying that he was disappointed that didn't lead to a face turn for Finn Balor, where he leaves Judgment Day and potentially gets that baby face run that he could have. And it's not to say he can't touch the title as a heel, and maybe this is going to lead to Punk and Balor at Elimination Chamber, because they did also say that, not according to Adam Pearce, there was no spot for Finn Balor on the Rumble card in terms of spots were taken. I'm sure they're going to do some injury angle where he bullies himself into it because he comes off as a desperate man. But I would
maybe attack somebody.
You know, that's what I'm saying.
Becky, yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But then I think even if that doesn't set up him versus Punk at Elimination Chamber, I feel like they alternate too with the titles, because right now Drew's defending the title and Punk's not defending the title right now on the Royal Rumble card. So it could be an Elimination Chamber match for Punk's championship, with Finn Balor being in there. I think that's the route they'll go. We said it here several times. You love to see Finn could touch the world title again, and it's not saying it won't happen. I just don't think it's gonna happen as a heel unless like he wins Money in the Bank or something like that. There's nothing wrong with a former champion winning it, especially because he hadn't touched the world title in 10 years.
Right.
So one of those things where it's like, oh, he's a former world champion, and they wasted that spot giving it to somebody that already had the title. Because Finn hasn't touched a singles championship in about 5 years, give or take. So I think the U.S. title was the last title he won. So now that was closer to 4. Because Austin Theory defeated him for it. So it's been about 4 years since Finn's touched a singles championship. So it's one of those things too where nothing wrong with him potentially winning the Money in the Bank contract. Although I feel like it's still going to be Logan Paul or Dirty Dom if that briefcase this year. But that's one of those wait and see situations.
Right. Okay. And I had one other question. That could probably serve as a heated roundtable question. I got 2 different things that could either be a heated roundtable question or it could just be a general question. I'll make an instant judgment call. Boom, I'm gonna leave that for a heated roundtable. Okay, here we go. WWE apparently trademarked Judas this week. The word Judas has now been trademarked by WWE, which is leading to rumors they're reuniting WWE with Chris Jericho and him possibly returning this weekend at Royal Rumble. What are your thoughts about that? And to add on to that, entrance music. Should Jericho use the classic Jericho Break the Walls Down intro music, or in fact use the Judas thing that he was utilizing in AEW? Which would you do at this point in time in your career if you'd have it your way, or if you were Chris Jericho?
If he returns to Rumble, use Judas. If he returns to Royal Rumble, use the old theme because they'll appreciate the classic, especially in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. They're not going to really know Judas like that. I don't think they would. You'd be surprised though. They definitely knew Code of Personality when Punk came out. They definitely had that the arena rocking, singing the lyrics to that. I would use Judas starting WrestleMania. You could make a whole big spectacle of it because I do think this would be Chris Jericho's last WrestleMania. So he could come out to Judas, and I think the whole crowd singing along with that would be pretty dope scene at WrestleMania Vegas. But I don't think it's going to be a super long run. I think it's going to literally be him come back to get a Hall of Fame induction. I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't his retirement tour as well. I'd be shocked if Jericho has another full year. It'll just probably be a special attraction type thing. It'll probably be of that kind of that Logan Paul before he got signed type thing, where he'll work some programs, but before Logan Paul signed on to be a full on. So it'll be something in between Brock and so if I said something like a Logan Paul type run. Or I don't think we'll necessarily see him weekly. Or similar to his 2013 run where I think he was feuding with Ziggler. Then he disappeared for a little bit. Then he came back and feuded with some other guys. So could be one of those runs too, where he's still under contract, but not seeing him necessarily weekly. But I think it kind of had to happen. Jericho is synonymous. He's one of those dudes where people have to say he was an important piece of each era, leading up to from the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era. Even when he came back and reinvented himself, when him and Shawn Michaels about closer to 20 years ago now, when they had that hell of a feud for the World Heavyweight Championship when he accidentally punched Shawn's wife in the face. And they had that whole angle where they turned him heel, feud with Punk. So it's just like he's synonymous with the company, and glad to see it come full circle. I hope Bryan Danielson is next. And I hope he's able to finish his career too, with because he said he's retiring full time from in-ring. He necessarily say he's not going to ever wrestle again. So hopefully, same with Danielson.
Okay. Keeping the topic on Jericho for a quick second, which show do you think he makes the most impact on if he is in fact returning to WWE television? Do you put him on Friday nights or do you put him on Mondays? Which would you do?
Probably Friday because it's a 3-hour show and they're gonna need some star power to keep yeah, and it's not that it's unwatchable. It's just there's gonna be some weeks where it's like, all right, we need that kick in the ass, and having that legend be able to call on that legend. At least even if it's not in a high end feud, it'll probably be more than likely some upper mid card feuds of that stuff of that nature to elevate some talent. Uh, you could also put them on Raw because the Vision, they're going to need somebody else to feud with eventually once they move on from the whole Punk thing because that's easy to fall back into that. But I think eventually they're going to need some. I think they're fine either way, but I think Friday nights might need them more because even though Roman's not officially on the show, his last X appearances have been on Raw. That's another thing. So you don't want to overload too on Raw with Roman and Punk and the Usos and because really all that left SmackDown with is Cody. Well, Orton's back now, so he's a star power for sure. And then Drew, but yeah, that's the only thing you want to do overload with. And then, like I said, AJ's on Raw, Gunther's on Raw, so yeah, you don't want to do overkill with just because it's on Netflix. And that's not to say you can't make some appearances because you could do something similar to Cena. Cena was supposed to be exclusive to SmackDown, but you saw often he was popping up on Raw with the Undisputed Championship, and they had their own World Championship. Because Punk's been exclusive to Raw, quote unquote exclusive, and Punk got a WWE Championship match the last time they were in Saudi Arabia, or one of the last times. Yeah.
Okay. For me personally, and I've had this conversation with a couple of other people in a couple of other wrestling chats I'm in. I think utilizing the Judas song on Chris Jericho's part is like a business move, and it's a lucrative move for him in terms of business because that's his group Fozzie's, one of their theme songs, one of their more popular songs, and just having the licensing deal for Judas, to appear on WWE television, on WWE soundtracks, in WWE video games and programming, etc. It just generates more income for the group. So I think, and it's a catchy tune. Like I'm a huge fan of Judas. I'm not a super big rock fan, but that's one of those songs I can really get behind. So I really like it. You know what I mean? I can dig it when it comes on. So yeah. I just, but I wouldn't be opposed to some sort of mashup where they kind of maybe had Break the Walls Down and then it morphs into Judas. You know what I mean? WWE's great at remixing stuff to that extent. You know what I mean? So I think we'll get something like that. If anything, if it's not just straight up Judas as we heard it on AEW programming, it'll be, in fact, some type of remix, new version of it, or some variant of it where they have, added elements of his Break the Walls intro into it. I also agree with your point about him being on Fridays as well, given that the show is a 3-hour show. I don't know why nobody on the creative team hasn't just pitched the idea saying, hey, look, Universal USA Network wants us to book this 3-hour time on Fridays. Cool. Our show, SmackDown, does not need to be 3 hours. We can do 2-hour programming for SmackDown, and then we can do the recap show, much like they used to do on the WWE Network. I can't remember what it was called for SmackDown, but they used to have remember they used to have the one come on right after Raw, immediately after Raw on the network, and then they had the one that came, it was Talking Smack. They could have that actually be the hour number 3, and it's just a recap show. It doesn't have to be a 3rd hour of SmackDown. You know what I mean? Because some weeks you may be able to make it entertaining and engaging. I didn't watch last week, but the week prior, I actually sat down and watched it, and it wasn't a bad follow, and it moved pretty fast. But you're not gonna get that every single week. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a chore to watch a program for 3 hours straight every week. You know what I mean?
Well, then also it's on a Friday too. That's another thing. So exactly. It's like I think most people start making moves to go to wherever they're trying to go at 9. So that last hour probably they're gonna have to do something, change something up with the formula. Because I remember years ago, No Mercy 2016, they actually kicked show off with the WWE Championship match. It was like AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose versus John Cena. So they're gonna have to do something too, though, to get to at least, if they don't want to drop that third hour, if that viewership drops, at least get your top guys their, their segments. They have to play around with it basically.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're getting paid handsomely to take on that third hour of content. Yeah. You know what I mean, and do a 3-hour show. But as fans, we know because we've been at WWE events when it's 3 hours plus, sitting there, without the commentary, how much of a chore that is. So you got the fans at the stadium, you know what I'm saying, tired, visibly tired sometimes, trying to follow the whole thing. And then you got us at home that are watching it as well. And it's just kind of like, okay, you kind of paying attention, but you kind of not, you kind of in and out. Like you said, it's a Friday night. So who's to say that you got 3 hours to sit there and watch the entire program on Friday? The good thing about it is in this day and age, you don't necessarily have to sit and watch it all in one day at one time.
Right, exactly.
It's just one of those things where it's like, all right, y'all, like this is kind of where Talking Smack could go right here at the third hour. Or it could be like a beginning thing, like a 0 hour kind of thing, like AEW does, where it's like, and WWE used to do that 0 hour kind of thing too back in the day for PLEs. But I just think they need to kind of consider doing that, where it's like, all right, a super duper casual fan or a straight up fanatic will tune in to that Talking Smack, especially depending on who you have as the host there. You know what I mean? To make sure that crowd is coming to watch that every week,
No, for sure.
All right. So that was that question. I thought it was a pretty good question. So let me go ahead and cue up what I think will be a good heated roundtable question right now.
Ooh, the roundtable's getting heated. Heated roundtable.
Okay, so here we go. Around 2023, we had some reports that both Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon had some talks with Tony Khan in terms of AEW. At the time, it was being reported that Shane was possibly trying to acquire ownership in AEW. Tony obviously wasn't trying to sell it 100%, but he was definitely having conversations with how to get the McMahon's involved, since Vince had been removed from WWE programming. Shane obviously hadn't been on WWE programming since, I want to say, 2022. Was it 2021, 2022?
I think the last time. No, because didn't he get injured against Snoop Dogg at WrestleMania?
So yeah, that was like 2021, 2022.
No, that was later. That was like 2023 or 4.
When did he have the match against Undertaker? Because I think that was the last match he was a part of, in terms of WWE programming. But he got removed from like WWE television because remember he was kind of like the SmackDown GM. They had Stephanie as the Raw GM, and it was Stephanie and Trips on Raw, him on SmackDown. But he got kind of excommunicated from WWE programming altogether after that Raw Underground stuff didn't really work out. But fast forward anyway, there was discussions being had and it seemed like it fizzled out. Well, apparently Shane McMahon news and rumors have returned, and he's supposed to appear on AEW television sometime soon in the near future, as soon as March, as some reports are being said. And he's supposed to appear as the first and official, well, not official first, but he's supposed to appear as a GM of sorts for AEW.
So his last official match was Royal Rumble 2022. But they tried to do that match at WrestleMania 39 with him and Miz, and like Shane injured himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Snoop Dogg had to come in for him. I misspoke. So Miz didn't come in for Shane. Mm-hmm. Snoop Dogg came in for Shane.
Okay. And it was the actual match?
No, it was supposed to be. Shane like tore something.
Okay.
He legitimately injured himself. and they had put the X up. So he was supposed to have a match against Miz at WrestleMania 39.
Leave it to Shane to pull a Vince. Remember when Vince was trying to get in the
Yeah.
ring? And he tore both his quads. Oh wow. So what do you think, man? AEW finally getting a GM style character on television to quote unquote give some structure to AEW television. Like, what are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on it being Shane McMahon and Shane O'Mac bringing some of that energy to AEW? Like, you think this is going to end up being something good? He's supposed to get like some equity in the company and all of these kind of things. We'll see where that goes in the future, but for now, them bringing Shane O'Mac as a character to AEW, what do you think it'll be?
I think it's unnecessary. I don't know. I've never been the biggest fan of the dude. I mean, I respect the fact that he's willing to put in the work and not embarrass himself when he gets in the ring type thing. But at the same time, I'm not sure what that really does for the company. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, it does make sense to have an on-screen character to be more prominent in that sense, but I'm not sure what exactly it adds to improve their product. I mean, it's not like you're adding Paul Heyman. Like one of the greatest minds arguably in the business, period. And then it's one of those things where, granted, he's never been an in-ring character, like he never really actively wrestled. He's been involved in matches and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't really know how that changes the dynamic of anything on their television. Ed and Shane McMahon version. I mean, you hear the name McMahon, but I mean, Stephanie's always been a better on-screen character, especially like as a heel.
Okay, that's a hot take.
I personally do. I mean, I don't know what Shane really. I mean, he was good in that babyface role on SmackDown, but I mean, I think he was overshadowed by Daniel Bryan at the time. I don't think people really cared about Shane being in that position. I think people cared more about Daniel Bryan in that position because he quote unquote brought him on in an advisor role or whatever hell he was calling him in. I mean, yeah, I don't know, bro. I ain't never been the biggest fan of Shane as a character. Personally, I don't know.
I've been inclined to agree with you as far as being the biggest fan of him, of his character. I always thought the Shane character was like a sleazeball, slam ball, and I'm sure that was the end game, what they wanted that character to be. But he had some hella fat matches. Like
no, he did. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Him and Stephanie, like I can't take that away from him. Like this dude got bona fide classic matches, especially with Kurt Angle. You know what I mean? At that King of the Ring.
Yeah.
When he put him through the glass, like, yeah. So when it comes to that, I do think, he's definitely had better matches than Stephanie.
No, I said as a character.
No. I'm just saying better matches.
No. I'm not talking about the in-ring. I said as a character.
No, I get it. I'm just saying he's had better matches.
I know. We know that.
Yeah, better character.
No, we know that. That goes without question that he's had better matches, like the match against AJ at WrestleMania 33. That was probably the best match. That might have been the best match on the card.
But character-wise, I agree with you. She has been a better character overall than Shane O'Mac.
That's what I'm saying. If he's coming in as a GM role, that's why I'm not really excited about it. That's all I'm getting at. Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing if he's able to pull off being that GM where it's going to be believable, and C, they're going to truly like utilize him to like add structure to AEW television. I think my biggest gripe with AEW TV, just as a watcher and as a fan of their programming, is that you have so much you're trying to cram into those 2 hours. You got AEW, the TBS championships, you got the TNT championships, you got the World Heavyweight championships. Then you have these relationships with these champions from other companies. You got the CMLL champions coming and having matches. Then you got a Ring of Honor, and you got to try to cram Ring of Honor into this 2-hour programming that you already need for this, massive roster that you have for AEW, that you have to split between 2 shows. I really hope that they utilize having him to introduce another GM and they do a brand split. This, this list of guys is Dynamite. This list of guys is Collision. Like they were saying they were supposed to do with CM Punk and who was it back in the day? It was supposed to be split. Collision was supposed to be Punk's show, and Dynamite was supposed to be whose show? I'm trying to remember who it was supposed to be.
MJF, because he's a
MJF maybe.
I think he's a champion at the time.
So I would like to see a scenario where that happens. You only need one heavyweight champion. You got that MJF. You got the best guy over there for that particular role. But I think if they're adding that structure, and the people that love watching Ring of Honor over there on Collision or on Dynamite, y'all gonna probably hate what I'm getting ready to say, but they need to split the AEW roster into those two shows. You have them intertwined where you need to. You do your super shows, much like how WWE did. And Ring of Honor will have to become a YouTube show, a YouTube presentation, until it's able to secure TV rights, much like how TNA's had to do, and several other shows and federations in the past have had to do. And they get their own show, their own time slot, whatever day, etc.
Well,
or like how WWE did with NXT initially, where it had its own day. It was on the WWE network, and it had people that were dedicated and going to watch it, each and every single Wednesday on the WWE network. You know what I mean? They did that faithfully until they got, the TV deal with USA to have it on USA.
Well, my thing is this though. Why not use some talent? I just said a name that somebody was in that role with in the previous promotion. Why not just use Bryan Danielson in that spot? If you're gonna introduce a GM, somebody that's basically almost retired, he has enough character value where the fans would be invested. Because I don't know, and then personality-wise, he already has that too. They already have people in place that could do that. It's just I don't understand, other than adding the name McMahon, what that really does. And like I said, he's not even. I mean, probably the third most popular character of McMahon in history. So I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's just that though, bro. Like, it's just to say, hey, I have a McMahon on my show as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have the one that got booted out though. They didn't even want nothing to do with him.
Hey, as long as you got one though, you know what I'm saying? Just I think the sheer curiosity, at least for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, will have fans tuning in. Casual AEW fans that'll be like WWE like stands that'll actually say, you know what, let me go see what they're gonna do with Shane over here on AEW television. Let's see if his presence actually has an impact on AEW programming. So for me personally, that's what I'm hoping to see from it. It doesn't necessarily need to affect anything in the ring wise. I think AEW, when it comes to what's happening in the square circle, money. You know what I'm saying? You can get a lot of great matches, a lot of great quality from what's happening in that ring. Even, promo wise, match wise, etc. It's a lot to try to add, and to try to digest in that little bit of time. And you're trying to promote, and they need space to like develop all that. It's like, okay, Ring of Honor was there to buy, so okay, I get the acquisition, but now let's do what we need to do to make this a profitable thing for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not. It's one thing to just have it and to just have these people with these championships and we got the champion on the show. Make it mean something when those champions are on the show having a match, defending that title. You know what I mean? Be it on Collision, be it on Dynamite. I think, having a Shane there to say, hey, this is going to be the GM of Dynamite. It may lead to Daniel Bryan maybe being the Collision GM. And let's see how that works. And then maybe possibly doing a draft and picking who's going to be on this show, who's going to be on that show. And you go from there. Champions, maybe, since they don't have two sets of, they kind of do got two sets of mid-card champions. They got women tag champs now. They got trio champs. Like, those can kind of be intertwined, and they could probably pop up on either show. But it just really depends on how they approach it. But I'm excited to see it. I that last run of Shane, I really enjoyed it. So I really would like to see what he could do current day and doing it, with a fresh coat of paint in a new Fed that isn't, a McMahon, led, company. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But that's the heated roundtable question of the week, man. So we got through it. We got through it. The only thing left we got to do here now, sir, is make our picks for the WWE 2026 Royal Rumble card taking place this Saturday at, is it
Our
8
time, our time will be 1 o'clock Central Time, so I think it's 2 o'clock on the East, 11 on the West Coast.
All right, so Saturday, January 31st at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So, like you said, 1 o'clock our time. All right. So, I'm going to do a list of who's been officially officially been announced as participants for men and women really quickly before we begin to make our match picks, okay? For the women's Royal Rumble, just a couple of names to mention that have officially been named. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez, Bayley, Asuka, Lyra Valkyria, and Kairi Sane. They have been officially announced. For the men, we have Cody announced, Roman announced, Gunther, Rey Mysterio, Penta, Dragon Lee, Jey Uso, Solo Sikoa, Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, Bronson Reed, Javon Evans, excuse me, I said Evans, Obafemi, and Brock Lesnar, just to name a few. So it's gonna be pretty stacked as far as star power. It's gonna be pretty stacked. So KG, from here, brother, we're gonna do it like this. We're going to do AJ versus Gunther, then we'll do the WWE Championship, then we'll do Women's Royal Rumble winner and Men's Royal Rumble winner. Sound good?
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's do it. AJ Styles versus Gunther. If Styles loses, he must retire.
AJ Styles.
2 months after John Cena retiring, AJ Styles saying this year he was going to retire. He didn't. We're very early in the 2026. Not to say that it can't happen, because they also trademarked the Career Killer, so I'm guessing that'll be some new T-shirts coming soon for Gunther. But I'm gonna make my pick as a fan and not just somebody that's kind of doing a podcast and trying to make picks without emotion. I'm gonna pick AJ Styles because I feel like you want to utilize that name, that brand, the phenomenal one. You don't. I liken it to this. Ric Flair retired in WWE, right? And 30 days later, whatever, 3 months later, he popped back up in TNA, and he was back to I think he was working with Fortune 4, may have even had a match or two, but obviously he didn't stay retired. AJ Styles losing on Saturday, I don't think he would stay retired. I think if he does lose, it's only so he has the ability to go have matches elsewhere, have some retirement matches in New Japan, have some retirement matches possibly in AEW. You know what I mean? Maybe some matches in MLW. You have CMLL that I just mentioned, down in Mexico. GCW. You got a myriad of places he could possibly go and have, dream matches that aren't necessarily WWE matches. You know what I mean? So if that happens, I'm inclined to believe, okay, that just gives him the leeway to go and have these matches elsewhere with no issue.
Well, this isn't nothing really new though, because he said if people can go back and look when he signed this current contract, he said that was it, man. It just went by like that because he was doing his. He re-signed when I want to say when he first signed, he signed like a 4 or 5 year deal. Then he signed another 4 or 5 year deal, which if you do the math, yeah, I think that is. But yeah, he said it was his last contract, so it just time just flew by like that. So this is actually nothing that hasn't been on the radar.
Yeah,
It just went over people's heads.
yeah, and this is the 10-year anniversary. He debuted in WWE at Royal Rumble 2016. So it could be a full circle moment. I just don't personally think they're going to do that this soon. You know, with Brock Lesnar kind of saying, "Hey, SummerSlam is going to be it for me." Um, I don't know when else you could possibly pull the trigger on AJ, because you obviously don't want to have that moment. Not necessarily dimmed by somebody else, but you don't want him to, for example, say, "Oh, my last match is SummerSlam too," and we obviously thinking, okay, SummerSlam is gonna be Brock's last match, so it's a 50-50 thing. It's in the air, but as a fan, I'm gonna pick AJ to win. I'm gonna pick AJ to win. All right, next match for the WWE Championship: Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. You got Drew McIntyre? So I saw this theory, and the theory wasn't crazy to a degree. I just didn't agree with their end result, because a lot of people are pitching that we're gonna see Cody versus Roman again at this year's WrestleMania, and I just don't know. I don't know if that's gonna take place. But there is a theory out here that Sami Zayn will win Saturday against Drew McIntyre, and he'll be a transitional champ, lose it to Cody, and then he'll lose it to Cody at Elimination Chamber if it were to happen in this scenario. And Roman would pick Cody, obviously, to face him for the championship at WrestleMania. So that's kind of like the working thing that guys are going with. But I'm actually gonna, you know what, since they kind of playing hot potato. No, they're not gonna do it. I was gonna pick Sami. I was this close to picking Sami. I'm gonna say Drew's gonna retain as well, because I do think Drew is going to go into WrestleMania champion, and we'll probably see Drew versus Sami, and Sami may beat him there. But Sami's gonna have a hellified showing in where they gonna be at again? Riyadh. Riyadh. That's how you say it. Okay, Riyadh on Saturday. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Drew as well. All right. Women's Royal Rumble match. I kind of think we're both gonna make the same pick here, but I'll let you go.
Bianca Belair.
I'm going the same. I just saw on YouTube when I was getting everything ready for the episode. Bianca and Jade Cargill was arriving, you know what I'm saying, to the air. They were coming out of the airport there this morning. So, no surprise there. I think we've said this time and time again that everything was leading toward her versus Jade Cargill.
Yeah, it just makes the most sense.
Yeah.
The only other person that has enough star power to make sense is if the rumors of some people coming back. If Paige comes back, that would make sense. But as the roster stands now, I don't see anybody else that makes sense to say that person's going to win instead of Bianca. Because the men, once we get to it, that's more of a toss-up.
Yeah. Would you want Paige to come back and win though? Like, if she did come back,
I'm just saying. I think it would kind of like it could make it make sense. Right now, I can't look at anybody else on the main roster right now. It makes like sense for them to win the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Based on who the champions are, and based on just they've all been there. It's one of those things. At least like with Jey Uso when that won, even though a lot of us expected Cena or Punk to win. Punk more so because he never made it in WrestleMania. Cena because it was his last year. If you look at the rest of the women's roster right now, I'm trying to think who would make sense for them to win the Rumble. Where's it structured right now? Because Roxanne will probably win the Money in the Bank this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think she'll win the Rumble. You just look at Liv's already been to the mountaintop. We already know Raquel's getting her title shot. Asuka done been there. Becky's done been there.
Mm-hmm.
She got the IC title right now.
Right.
And just look at who the champions are. I don't think either one of them are losing the title before WrestleMania.
I
So
don't either. And that's why I was asking, like, on paper, would that be like which match would you? Is that a matchup you want to see? Paige versus Stephanie Vaquero or Paige
I mean,
versus
you
Jade
could do that because
Cargill?
you could do that from a standpoint that Paige, as much as she would be accepted, she don't have to be a babyface. You could turn people in enough time. They turned Jericho relatively fast when he
Mhm.
came back. I think when he came back in 22, I believe he was a babyface, so they turned him against Punk for Mania.
Mhm.
So
Okay. All right. All right. Well, last but certainly not least, the men's Royal Rumble match.
mm, I'm sorry. I'm conflicted between three people: Roman, Braun, and Sammy. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Roman, but I'm not. Yeah,
So
because it's been
Roman,
about two
final
years.
answer.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years since he's had a title match anyway, too. That's another thing. I mean, granted, he hasn't
Okay.
fully been on television those 2 years, but
All right. I forgot to mention while we were talking about the women's, but Big Will, King of the Black Road, also picked Bianca Belair to be the women's Royal Rumble winner. Um. Now there was an interview going on with Seth freaking Rollins on ESPN, and kind of spilled the beans, man, so to speak, if this is in fact taking place. But I put it in the group on Instagram, the hot take community chat, and this guy from damn, it's escaping me, the podcast that he's on. But he basically kind of spilled the beans on Seth Rollins possibly returning for the Royal Rumble, and he basically was asking him, "How does it feel that you're gonna participate in this year's Royal Rumble?" It was ESPN, and it was my man. He was on First Take. What's my guy's name? Ryan Clark, I want to say. I can't. I'm not sure if that's his
okay.
name. But picking Seth Rollins. Long story less long. Picking Seth freaking Rollins. I think he comes back. He finishes the story, or thinks he's gonna finish the story against CM Punk to win back the title that he never lost, etc., etc. Which my big theory is that it gets revealed that CM Punk is actually the leader of the Vision, and yeah, he turns to a bad guy at Mania.
That's a possibility, but I think if Seth comes back, he's going straight after the people that turned his back on him. I don't think Seth will be in. I don't think Seth will be in the Rumble, but
Yeah, that's what
because
I'm gonna go with. That's
I
my
heard. I mean, I heard he was there. They didn't even know if he could be back at WrestleMania. I definitely never heard anything about the Rumble. I think that was just to get people's eyes on because ESPN took over their PLE, so
yeah,
they
and
need
it
to
was
say
on
something.
ESPN. Yeah,
I mean, if it happens, I guess I don't. I don't think they'll have Seth to win it though. Even if he does come
yeah,
back, I
yeah.
think they'll do
Ryan
something.
Clark. Yeah, it was Ryan Clark.
Yeah, we'll see. But I'd be shocked if Seth was the one that win it though. He definitely don't need to win it. If people don't think because Roman don't need to win it, but at least it's been like 2 years since Roman's had a title match or something. I
Mm.
mean, I know Seth was. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, and the only reason I got Seth winning that is because I do think they want to have Sammy do this whole road less traveled kind of thing, and have him maybe win in a hard earned fight. And I'm thinking he wins in Chicago at the
Um,
Elimination Chamber. So that's
I
that's that's how I think that's
I
gonna
think
go.
it's I think if Seth comes back, it'll be because I think the Elimination Chamber is going to be for Punk's title. I think it'll be one of those situations where they might do the person in the black again. This time, Braun gets curb stomped, and that's how Punk wins. I think they'll do that, and they'll reveal the dude in the black to be Seth.
Or I mean, that could be a more viable scenario. WrestleMania, Seth freaking Rollins versus Brian Breaker. I could definitely see that going along with the revenge angle, like you said. That makes a lot more sense. But in terms of just main event, if I'm Seth Rollins, not to say that I'm taking a boo-boo on the Brian Breaker match, but I think me personally, yeah, I'm gonna pick the championship match. If I have
he would, but I think that's already written in stone. I think it's gonna be Brock and Punk.
Yeah, which we'll see. But and that sucks, man, because LA Knight was my dark horse to win it all this
He's
year.
still good. I forgot all about him. It's just and who's because he don't necessarily have to. His division's just making too many enemies. And I think it's hard to just pick the champion on the show instead of going after the division. That's my whole thing. Because he has to go after Bronson Reed. So, and Bronson Reed is not the world champion at the moment. I just think it's kind of, and it wouldn't. So, I mean, you could have him go after Punk. You could do babyface versus babyface, but I just think people got too much unfinished business with the division for them to go straight after the title instead of getting their revenge. That's all it was. Just because if LA Knight was just, if they had just ridden him off some other way, or he just taking time off and then do any type of angle, you don't just disappear off TV. But I don't know. You got Drew McIntyre as a possibility too, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm saying in terms of who he could pick, but I just think he has to go after the division once he comes back.
Yeah. All right, people. Well, there you have it. That is our picks for the 2026 WWE Royal Rumble. I hope you all enjoy it. I know we will definitely do our best to enjoy it as well. Once again, just want to let you guys know, Rumble is on Saturday, January 31st, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. If you're here in the Midwest, like myself and KG, that means 1 p.m. 1 p.m. start time, okay? Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. Let us know if you liked our picks. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to watch Hot Take Wrestling Podcast. The party normally starts at 8. Sometimes we work with CP time. Other times we don't. Sometimes we right on time. But, just remember, Wednesdays, the parties start at 8. Up next for the Hot Take crew, we got Hot Take After Dark tonight with the Wise Man and Willie Uso, a.k.a. King in the Black Robe. They should be on tonight. I might join them tonight as well to just kind of make my monthly showing. I try to pop up once a month. If I don't pop up tonight, I'll probably pop up to next week. But you got Hot Take After Dark tonight at 10:30ish. And then tomorrow we should have episode 2 of High Takes with King in the Black Robe, Willie Uso, and I should be on that tomorrow as well. That should be starting about 8. So make sure you're watching. And as always, watch Boulevard Ave. New episodes typically are shown Mondays. All right. So make sure you're always tuning in for Boulevard Ave. So nice little selection there of content for you on the NMG TV.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah. So make sure you subscribe to NMG TV on YouTube. But for now, that's all you got from the Hot Take crew. KG, any last thoughts you want to tell the people before we get out of here, man?
Don't do drugs.
I mean, there you go. That's always pretty good. KG, like, I'm ready to go. All right, y'all. Well, this is Hot Take Wrestling. I'm Old Man Logan. This is KG, and we out of here, man. We'll see you guys next week.
Busta Rhymes, 2000. We got the